King to India today, bringing Rajdeep back in on this because Rajdeep has truly seen Pranab Mukherjee's political journey across Rajdeep's own career, and that's one of the reasons why Rajdeep has had occasion to interview him so many times and report from truly the Pranab front lines. What was his relationship like, Rajdeep? You were talking about, his reverence for Indira Gandhi. In the post-Indira period, what was the landscape like for Pranab Mukherjee? We've seen the controversies that happened, his own ambitions as far as Prime Minister are concerned. How do you see that?
Very interesting question, Shiv. And the fact is he left the Congress or was forced to leave the Congress between 85 and 89 when Rajiv Gandhi was Prime Minister. And there were these reports that the reason for it was that Pranab Mukherjee had been ultra ambitious and wanted to become Prime Minister after Indira's death. And I remember once asking him, and he said, Rajdeep, do you really think that I would have prevented Indira's son from becoming Prime Minister? He claimed that it was a complete misinterpretation of when he wanted to chair a cabinet meeting. He said, I thought I should chair the cabinet meeting after Indira's death as the senior most minister. That was misinterpreted, misconstrued, used against me to suggest that I was pushing to become Prime Minister. It was a big regret he had, and he spent 4 years outside the Congress. And I don't think his relationship ever really fully mended in that sense. But eventually Sonia Gandhi did use Pranab Mukherjee as a senior statesman, and he sort of found his way back into the hearts, you could say, of 10 Janpad, the very fact that he was made president. I think Pranab Mukherjee, as I said earlier, she was a constitutionalist. He wasn't a mass leader, but he was a parliamentary politician. And therefore, even after Indira's death, even if the Rajiv period didn't quite go the way he would have wanted, remember he came back to the Congress in 89, so 2 years before Rajiv passed away. And who is to say if Rajiv had not become Prime Minister in 1991, he would not have used Pranab Mukherjee? I'm sure he would have. I think eventually Pranab Mukherjee was the kind of person you simply could not ignore. He was someone who had such a fount of information and knowledge about politics, that he was someone who was necessary for the, he was much needed by the Congress. So even after the Indira age, while he was perhaps never quite he didn't enjoy the same relationship with the other Gandhis, I think he was much respected. I don't think anyone disrespected Pranab Mukherjee. Man of short temper, but long memory. In my last interview with him, Shiv, which was the first after he demitted as president, we were talking about his book. He got angry because I was interrupting him.
Yes.
That video has gone viral. What people don't know is the moment the interview was over, he offered me sandesh and chai and said, let's have sandesh and chai. So, that was Pranab Mukherjee. Short-tempered one moment, but a very caring person at the other.
Absolutely. He's been defense minister at a time when I began my career as a defense correspondent. So I'm very, very familiar with that temper you talk about, and yet that soft nature that he also had, Rajdeep. And we can exchange notes on that. Rahul, Pranab Mukherjee,
his face would get Shiv red like a tomato. If you saw when he got angry, his face would get all red. He would really get angry, but he would give up his anger equally quickly.
No, he was formidable. I mean, this was a personality that you didn't want to mess with. He was this may be a harsh thing to say, but within the Ministry of Defense system, he was very intolerant of people who sought to waste his time, and he was not very nice with fools, if I can say it that way. Rahul, formidable personality, short temper, but a soft heart. A man who was very professional, and he expected people around him to be as professional as he was. Any recollections or memories of this famous personality of Pranab's, where he was quite intolerant of people who wanted to waste his time?
Many, Shiv. I've interviewed him nearly 5 to 6 times over the last...
Okay, just 1 second. Rahul, apologize for interrupting you. Ghulam Nabi Azad, senior leader of the Congress party, former union minister, with me on the phone line. Azad sir, your reactions on this very sad loss of Pranab Mukherjee?
Well, this is the loss of the country, but it's also